We did a webinar with Luna a few weeks ago. Luna, by the way, is one of our clients. She and her husband run fund planners down out of Orlando, Florida. And I remember working with Luna, I forget now when she joined Goodshuffle, but in my early days, and her husband's kind of like mid journey, I think, as business owners. And it is so interesting to hear her talk about the things that have made her and her husband's business successful. And that is that they have created systems and repeatable processes that work for them, for their crew, for their sales team, and for their clients. And they do a lot of cool things, and they work with a lot of cool clients, and they do a lot of unique things for their clients. But they have realized the patterns that happen between those moments and made it such that here's how what our expectations are really clear. Here's how we're holding people accountable so that everyone can follow through. And she's been very upfront and candid about her journey to come to that conclusion. And I think she's like so many business owners where everything feels really unique to you, and your business and your process needs to be unique. And again, this is something that we're going through at Goodshuffle as we scale, right? We were sitting in a leadership meeting yesterday, and we were, throwing objections internally about we can't do it this way because, this department or that department is so unique. And we literally had the best laugh because, we were like, we sound like our clients, we sound like our customers. We sound like our Goodshuffle family saying like, oh, this isn't going to work because we're so unique. And yet we learn time and time again that there is a rhythm and a recipe to success. And I truly believe, because it too is what I have had to reconcile, the hardest part of that journey is making, I guess, is it peace with that like, for us, right, the number of calls leads to a number of certain connections, leads to a certain number of meetings scheduled, leads to a certain number of meetings held, leads to a certain number of trials started, leads to a certain number of customers. And my best advice is figuring out what that recipe looks like for your business, because I know at the end of the day, every business owner ultimately wants predictable revenue, right? Whether that is to provide for yourself and your family, whether that is to increase your margin so that you can reinvest it back into the business. And I don't think it has to be all figured out at once, but take and diagnose like, okay, how many inquiries do I need from my website in order to get signed customers, and document and look out at, okay, what are the different points of the client journey? And you can do one of two things. You can either choose to double down on where you're strongest, or if you have, a leaky bucket, it's like, okay, what's causing that leak? Is there something easy that I can do to fix and address that? Or is there a bigger project? And, at that point, you've got to figure out trade-offs. But it may be such that, okay, your leaky bucket is I don't have enough inquiries coming in on the website. Cool. Goodshuffle has a ton of content that will help you do an audit for your website before you even pick up the phone and hire somebody in. And you may discover that it's as easy as, oh my gosh, I don't even talk about the area that I service on my website. And so, oh my gosh, that's something that you can fix in an hour on a Friday, and do that yourself. You may go through the audit and figure out like, oh man, this is a much bigger project for me, and I need to add some sort of like stronger call to action, or my language isn't attracting my ideal customer. And we have folks that we can refer you to, or you can work with our sales team or our customer success team to help you make those tweaks. But no one is going to know your business like you do. And I find, even as a sales leader, my intuition at times often points me in the direction of where things are off, and then I got to go looking for the data to back that up. But I think, in the spirit of, one of our mantras stolen from a consultant that we've worked with is control what you can control. And of all that you can control in what happens internally at your business, and what is happening with your clients. Clients are, in some ways out of your control, and all you can do is really focus on how you're showing up and the battle rhythm to your business. And that's where I would start before trying to chase your tail, meeting so many of the nuance in your customer demands.